ahead and call the meeting to order and welcome you to this meeting of the College Station Independent School Board of Trustees. We are elected at large to represent the interests of our community and our state in educating our students. Our mission for our students in this district is success each life, each day, each hour. We adhere to all pertinent laws, policies, and procedures in posting agendas and conducting our meetings. The detailed agenda information was made available to us at least 72 hours in advance, and we have all come to this meeting informed and prepared. We have just completed a workshop meeting where we heard reports and discussed much of the information needed to make decisions in either this meeting or in upcoming meetings. This is a meeting of the 7 trustees in a public setting rather than a public meeting. As such, public comment is included on the agenda at a specific time and requires us to listen rather than take action so as to abide by the Open Meetings Act. We are pleased that you have taken time this evening to join us. We're very proud of this school district and we thank you for your interest and support of our students. Dr. Ely.
Thank you, Dr. Yokin. Members of the board, we'll begin this evening as we do all of our board meetings with our pledges of allegiance and moments of silence. One of the special programs that we have over the summer is the extended school year program. And those folks leading us in a pledge are members of Extended School Year. And Lindsay Fuentes, who is an Assistant Director for Special Services, will come and introduce our students. Lindsay.
Good evening. We have Wyatt Gray. Wyatt, would you come on up here? Wyatt is a student who's going into 2nd grade at Creekview. He really enjoys math and also...
No, I don't!
Oh, you don't like math? What is it, science?
Science and computer.
A computer lab. He's a member of the computer lab, so he really enjoys that as well.
No, I don't mean that.
Okay, well, come on. And then we have Jeremiah Bell. I think he stepped out and went to the restroom real quick. Yeah, so let's go ahead, and he should be here shortly. Is he on his way? And Jeremiah Bell is a student going into 6th grade at Cypress Grove. In the Pledge of Allegiance. The Pledge of Allegiance. You ready? You ready? Go. Okay. Go right up here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now for the Texas Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state under God, one indivisible. Now for the moment of silence.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, we get to take a picture with the board. Dr. Yokin, that concludes our recognitions for this evening.
While we're getting settled, we'd like to go ahead and recognize the artwork that was provided to us by the CSISD Extended School Year Program as well. We'll move to item D, consent agenda. The items that are on consent are G, H1, I4, J1, J2, J3, J4. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the consent items as listed.
I'll second.
All right, any discussion? All those in favor of the consent agenda say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries 6-0. We'll move on to board reports. Does anybody have anything they'd like to share with the group?
I have a report
Okay.
for the Education Foundation. The Education Foundation started a new partnering opportunity campaign. It's an annual campaign where donors can give one-time support to support all the Education Foundation's initiatives. And to date, or I guess we started July 1st. To date, we've raised $81,000, and we have 6 donors coming in at the $10,000 level each. And I wanted to recognize those 6. We have Caldwell Country Chevrolet, CC Creations, CHI St. Joseph Health, Copy Corner, Culpeper Real Estate, and the Rife Law Firm. Great opportunity. We're just at the tip of the iceberg.
Great. Anybody else?
Well, it's not technically one of my assignments, but I did go have the opportunity to watch both of our high schools field 7-on-7 teams, College Station High School and A&M Consolidated, and they both did quite well at the highest level at the state tournament. So we can be certainly proud of what those young men were able to do.
I think Dr. Ely shared with the group in the transmittal this last week that he and I attended a meeting with our county commissioners from precincts 1 and 3 and the city of College Station. And the idea would be that the 3 entities would get together on like a quarterly or maybe 3 times a year basis and just talk about some of the things that are kind of issues within the planning units, looking forward. At the meeting, there was some discussion on the size of people attending. I guess with it only being the number of people, not the size, the number of people. And I guess my original thought was just to have one board member and the superintendent, since there's so many other committees people are participating in. It looks like it'll just be the 2 commissioners and then the mayor and the city manager attended. Is that any comments, feedback on that? Is that okay? There was a lot of discussion of what could-yous, would-yous kind of thing, but I think we have to be cognizant is that each one of the participants actually has a mechanism working with the other entities on a daily basis, and so this is more just big picture kind of thing. Do you have anything you would like to add to that?
No, ma'am.
Great. Okay. So with that, we'll see if Dr. Ely has anything else he wants to share with us and the superintendent.
Thank you, Dr. Yokin. Members of the board, I do have a few things I'd like to share with the board and the community this evening. A lot of stuff is going on in College Station ISD. We're doing some important work tonight with board policy and work on the budget. We're dealing with a special session that's getting started, but the biggest thing that's on the mind of College Station ISD right now is the unexpected and tragic loss of one of our coworkers. Dr. Amy Schwarrock Anderson passed away yesterday, unexpectedly at the age of 50. And her family is reeling, and indeed our College Station ISD family is reeling as well. And I just wanted to mention that for the people in this room who worked so closely with Amy over the years, and just honor her with the work that we do this evening, that we do as a district. I hope that the ideals that Amy stood for, which was the idea that all kids can achieve at great levels, that all kids can be readers, the passion that she brought to the work that she did, whether it was in the classroom or working with teachers, that we can emulate just a portion of that as a school system and as a leadership team. I hope that we can be able to do that and honor her memory. Amy was a special woman who believes, as I said, so much in the power of children and what they can do, the power of choice of kids being able to choose what they can read and how they can interact with the curriculum. Many of the things that have led us in our journey in teaching and learning, Amy was the architect of. So it is a big blow for College Station ISD, but more than that, we miss our friend. So that's really what's on our mind this evening. So with that said, it is here on the list. I would be remiss if I didn't comment a little bit on the special session in the legislature that kicked off today, and what that means for College Station ISD. We are continuing to watch what's coming out of that and how that could affect both our budget and us moving forward. Our hope is that our elected representatives in Austin will come together and work together to meet the needs of school children, meet the needs of local governments, to be able to provide infrastructure for our citizens, and speak less about those other issues that really don't matter in the grand scheme of things. So we will continue to watch that. Will have a bearing, could potentially, I guess, have a bearing on where we end up ultimately with the budget. One of the things that's frustrating for me as a superintendent and a school leader in public schools in the state of Texas is the notion being put forth by the governor that we are not spending our money adequately, and we're not spending it well, and that we can just carve out $1,000 to give teacher raises. We believe wholeheartedly in teacher raises and compensation. In fact, you'll see 2 action items later on in this agenda where we make a huge investment in our current and future staff members. The same sentiments were echoed by the Lieutenant Governor. I just wanted to say before we get to those agenda items when Mr. Martindale comes up that College Station ISD is making a huge investment in our most important resource in the school district, which is our staff. And we're doing a number of things that we'll be asking the board to take action on this evening, and that's providing a raise to all employees across the board, to provide much needed adjustments, equity adjustments for those who we've determined in our school system who are being paid lower than their market peers, and then also help provide some additional help for health insurance, which are just those costs are runaway. That I know everybody in their particular jobs are having to deal with that. I'm happy to report that we will still be able to, assuming that you act on a recommendation, that we will still be able to offer at least one plan for employee only that costs $0 for current College Station ISD employees. So I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud of the work that this administrative team has done and the leadership that this school board has provided in taking care of our most valuable resource, our employees. So with that, I will step off of my soapbox and go back to the rest of the meeting. That's my report, Dr. Yokin.
Sir. Hearing of citizens. Ms. Horn, do we have any? Thank you. Okay, we'll move to I1. Consider approval of the new administrator contracts as recommended by the superintendent of schools. Dr. Ely.
Thank you, Dr. Yokin. As we have some movement in our administrative ranks, we have the opportunity to hire an assistant principal at Rock Prairie Elementary. And it is my recommendation that the board approve Renee Sanders as the newest assistant principal in College Station ISD with her assignment to be at Rock Prairie Elementary School. Renee is a longtime employee of College Station ISD. She's worked as a teacher at Southwood Valley Elementary School, at Creekview Elementary, and she's been her latest assignment as a reading specialist at Rock Prairie. So we're very excited about Renee and her having this opportunity to join our administrative team, and I wholeheartedly recommend her for this position. I'd love to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions?
I move we accept the superintendent's recommendation to hire Renee Sanders as assistant principal at Rock Prairie Elementary.
I will second that motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye. All those opposed? The motion carries 6-0. Thank you. We'll move on to I2, consideration, discussion, and possible action related to employee salaries and health insurance benefits for the 2017-18 school year. Dr. Ely.
Thank you, Dr. Yoke and members of the board. This is the first of 2 action items we have before you this evening related to employee compensation. This first one has to deal with employee salaries and recommendation for salary increases for next school year, and health insurance increase and contributions from the district's part to our employees who take part in health insurance with College Station ISD. With more information on this is CFO and Deputy Superintendent Mike Martindale. Mr. Martindale.
Thank you, Dr. Ely, Dr. Yokin, and board members. As a part of our budgeting process for the 17-18 school year, administration is recommending an increase of 1.5% off base salary for all eligible employees. This raise will cost the district approximately $1.2 million. In addition to this, due to rising costs of health insurance premiums, administration is also proposing the district increase its contribution to employee health insurance premiums by $10 per month per participating employee. The collective cost for this increased contribution to the district will be approximately $150,000. With the recommended 1.5% salary increase for all employees, the increased contribution on health insurance premiums, and the consideration of equity adjustments required to implement the salary schedules we will be proposing on the next agenda item, the district would be committing over $2 million of new money in support of current employees' salaries. It is the administration's recommendation that the board approve the recommended 1.5% pay raise off base salary for current eligible employees and the new health insurance contributions as presented.
Do we have any discussion or questions?
I make the motion that we approve the recommended 1.5% pay raise off the base salary for current eligible employees and the new health insurance contribution rates as presented.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries 6-0. Move on to item I3, consider approval of the annual compensation plan for the 2017-18 school year. Dr. Ely.
Thank you, Dr. Yokin, members of the board. At the beginning of last school year, the administrative team got together and wanted to take a look at how College Station ISD was compensating our employees and have an outside entity come and examine us and really audit our payment practices, our compensation practices in this school district. We realized as we looked back that it had been at least 10 or 11 years since we had undergone a holistic look at compensation in the district. We had a sneaking suspicion that perhaps some of our employees, the compensation was falling behind their market peers. Working with the Texas Association of School Boards, we went through that process of looking at all of our job classes, all of our pay grades, whether it's classified paraprofessional, administrative professional, or teachers, and TASB made a number of recommendations to that. I'm happy to report that we are making a recommendation tonight to increase salary schedules to a way that is more comparable to our market peers. We think it's doing right by our employees in College Station ISD. So with this annual compensation plan that Mr. Martindale will present to us, we'll be able to make a number of changes, I think, that are positive for current and future employees of College Station ISD. With more information regarding that recommendation, Mr. Martindale.
Thank you, Dr. Ely. Board members, you've been provided with the proposed salary and pay structures for next school year. These proposed schedules and stipends reflect, as Dr. Ely mentioned, our current market rates as presented in our most recent Texas Association of School Board salary study. Just to highlight a few of the examples these new proposed schedules provide us. 0-year experienced teacher salaries in the proposed schedule would be increasing from $41,200 to $42,500. Also, auxiliary pay grade 1 employees such as child nutrition workers, custodians, and bus monitors, minimum would be increasing from a current rate of $8.82 an hour to $10 an hour. Computer technician minimal starting rate would increase from $15.21 to $17.23 an hour. And one other that I'd like to highlight, classroom instructional assistants minimum for that position will go from $9.04 an hour. That's what is our current schedule. The proposed would be $10 an hour. These are just some examples of what these new competitive proposed schedules do for us. The district would be investing approximately $790,000 in adjustments to implement these proposed schedules that are attached and reflective of the market. For example, with the equity adjustments, for example, if we have a custodian that currently makes $9 an hour, if the board approves the compensation plan as presented, and the new minimum is 10, then obviously that person, after we apply a 1.5% base raise, would still need to be adjusted up to at least a minimum of $10 an hour. So that's an example of where your equity adjustments are applied to move people into the schedules if their current rate of pay does not place them there. A significant portion of that money, obviously, when you move your 0 or your beginning year teacher from 41.2 to 42.5, requires some equity adjustments to fit our existing teachers into that new schedule. With that, it is administration's recommendation that the board approve the 17-18 annual compensation plan as presented.
Any discussion? We have a motion?
I move we approve the compensation plan as presented.
I will second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the compensation plan as presented say aye. Aye. All those opposed? So the motion carries 6-0. Thank you, Mr. Martindale. We will move to item K1, consider approval of board policy FC local regarding boundary adjustment. Dr. Ely.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. It's my pleasure this evening to bring to you for your consideration and approval the culmination of months of work regarding a local policy that had not existed prior to now, and that's board policy FC local. As everybody in this room knows, College Station ISD is a growing community. We continue to add kids and families to the school district at a pretty rapid pace, and that has necessitated this school district to respond by building and opening 5 schools in 5 years. When you have that type of enrollment growth, it's incumbent, I believe, upon administration and the board to have several options on how to most effectively and efficiently monitor that and react to that enrollment growth for our students, ensuring that we have space available for those who are coming to be involved in the school district. What Policy FC Local does is about way more than boundary adjustment. It's about monitoring annually and reporting publicly where we are in regards to both our proportion of kids in our various schools and the efficiency that we're using our buildings. It does provide a number of different options for future boards and administrations to react to that growth, including adding portable buildings, adding renovations, building additional facilities, capping enrollment, differentiating our staffing, a number of different tools in the tool belt in addition to boundary adjustment. But that is one that is in there. So as the members of the board know, we've been discussing this policy monthly since January of this year, and I'm excited for the opportunity to hear approval of this policy tonight, if that be the will of the board, and I'd love to answer any questions or hear any comments that we have regarding this policy.
Before I open it up for discussion, I just want to thank the administration and the board for all the effort and thought that's gone into putting together this document. I think that, we've worked very diligently to make it clear and transparent to the community on how we feel decisions should be made in the future, and to give some guidelines so that everyone has a clear understanding of all of the options that are available as the school district continues to grow. And so for that, I thank all of you for the time and effort that you put into it. Do we have any other comments or discussion? Do we have a motion?
I'll move that we approve it as presented.
Thank you for
FC
that,
local.
Mr. Williams.
I second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of approval of board policy FC local as presented, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries 6-0. Thank you very much for that. K2, consideration, discussion, and possible action on the approval of an interlocal agreement with the City of College Station concerning infrastructure related to Welborn Middle School. Dr. Ely.
Thank you, Dr. Yokin, members of the board. As I mentioned a few minutes ago, College Station ISD is building and opening 5 schools in 5 years. And when we open a school, it doesn't happen in a vacuum. It has an impact on the community, has impact on the infrastructure, on the roads, on sewer, on the mobility through the area. And we are excited to partner with our friends at the City of College Station to be able to work through those various issues that arise when we add a school. And so what we have before you this evening for your consideration is an interlocal agreement with the City of College Station to help participate somewhat in the infrastructure that's associated with the building of Welborn Middle School, specifically on what's going to happen on Reuter Road right out in front of that school. With more information on that is John Hall, Executive Director for Facilities. Mr. Hall.
Thank you, Dr. Ely, Dr. Yokin, members of the board. Back in November of 2015, College Station ISD voters passed a bond package for $135.9 million for new construction and renovation to district facilities. One of the major projects, in fact, the largest one of the 2015 bond package, was for what we referred to at the time as Middle School Number 3, which evolved into Welborn Middle School. Back in October of 2016, I brought this package before the school board for approval of total project budget and GMP. And the total project budget was $51,370,000. So it was a pretty substantial project for us. And this agenda item is for the interlocal agreement, or ILA, with the city to improve transportation infrastructure upgrades to Reuter Road, just adjacent to the Welborn Middle School site. As part of the permitting process with the City of College Station's Planning and Development Department, they require that the school district create a traffic impact analysis, or TIA, document, which they then use to develop a capital improvement project in order to upgrade road infrastructures around any of our major campuses like that. So they have now completed design of that project, which is primarily an expansion of the existing Reuter Road, where it is adjacent to the Welborn Middle School, and there's a little bit just adjacent to Greens Prairie Elementary School as well on Reuter, just on the other side of the intersection there at Greens Prairie Trail. And they have estimated a total cost for their project of $4,930,000 in order to accomplish that project. At this point in the process is when they request that CSISD participate financially in this project, which they are doing through this ILA document, up to a maximum amount of $450,000 as set forth in the ILA document attached. The total project budget for Welborn Middle School, approved back in October of 2016, included a city infrastructure budget for this exact work in the amount of $500,000. So you can see that this ILA falls well within that budgeted amount. So it is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve the attached resolution as written, which I would be glad to read aloud if needed. Otherwise, I'd love to answer any questions you might have about this.
Is anybody required to be read out loud?
Not tonight.
Good.
Thank you for the offer, though.
So
Any
good.
discussion or questions?
Looks like a lawyer wrote it.
Do we have a motion?
I make the motion that we approve as presented.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries 6-0.
Martindale, that's $50,000.
We'll have another green number next month. We're going to move to L1, where the board will meet in executive session to discuss the 2017 safety audit. The executive session deliberations will be held pursuant to the deliberation regarding security devices or security audits, closed meeting exception to the Texas Open Meetings Act, as set forth in section 551.076 of the Texas Government Code. Once we have completed that, we will move on to L2, where the board will meet in executive session to discuss the annual superintendent evaluation. The executive session deliberations will be held pursuant to the personnel matters closed meeting exception to the Texas Open Meetings Act, as set forth in section 551.074 of the Texas Government Code. Once we have completed that, we will move to L3, where the board will meet in executive session to discuss the superintendent contract. The executive session deliberations will be held pursuant to the personnel matters closed meeting exception to the Texas Open Meetings Act, set forth in section 551.074 of the Texas Government Code. Once we have completed that, we will come back into open session and move to item M1, where there would be consideration, discussion, and possible action to the superintendent's contract. No promise on when that might be, but you're more than welcome to stay out here if you'd like. With that, we'll go into executive session. We're going to go back into open session, consideration and possible action regarding the superintendent's contract. I need someone to make a motion.
I'll make a motion.
And that motion might be?
That we extend his contract 1 year and give him the same salary adjustment as we gave the regular staff.
Thank you. Do you have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I'd like to say something.
Okay.
I would just want to say it's an honor and a pleasure to work with and for each and every one of you. And thank you for the opportunity to continue our work. I think we're doing great things for kids in College Station ISD.
Thank you for
Thank you.
that. We think you're doing a great job. So all those in favor of extending the contract 1 year and adding the salary increase, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries 6-0. And with that, we are adjourned.